Howdy, Dennis Bradford here. Let's think some about being, feeling, and doing better.
Pride feels better than the lower negative emotions. Although anyone who feels pride is not only deluded, defensive, and vulnerable, feeling it is often socially encouraged. Pride is negative because it's divisive. At a calibration of 175, pride is the most powerful negative emotion. Someone who is full of pride is not only arrogant, but in denial. Anyone stuck on pride is blocked from spiritual growth. About 20% of prideful people report feeling happy, which is a far higher percentage than those suffering from the less energetic negative emotions such as shame, grief, or apathy. However, those prideful are confusing ego inflation with genuine happiness. Pride is a self-reward for successful accomplishments. Look, Mom, I got an A on the test. Well, honey, you should be proud of yourself for that. Is, though, the excellence due to the ego? No. That's where delusion infects thinking. Instead, it was the behavior, such as the studying, that yielded the reward. People who are proud evaluate themselves as personally superior to others in some respect or other. This is why pride is socially divisive. People sometimes want to take pride without doing anything, such as when they feel proud for being born of a certain race or class. Pride is immature self-admiration. It's a fragile, threatened feeling because it's really an undeserved or false air of superiority. By way of contrast, those who are mature feel humble and grateful when they enjoy a successful accomplishment. Furthermore, the assumption of the prideful is that there is an I who created the accomplishment. Really? The narcissistic ego is not aligned with integrous truth, end quote. From Transcending the Levels of Consciousness by David R. Hawkins, MD, PhD. In a subsequent video, we'll question and examine the ontological assumption that grounds belief in the putative reality of particular individuals. Of course, there's a feeling that we're separate selves, but might that be a delusion? Many ancient Greek intellectuals thought of overweening pride as the greatest sin of all, namely hubris. Why? Pride really does often precede a fall. What's pride's payoff? Obviously, it's a feeling of superiority, a feeling that one is better than others in some important respect. What's the cure for pride? As usual, integrity combined with radical humility antidote not only pride, but all the other negative emotions as well. Pride is a needless burden and a fragile prop, end quote. Those with low self-esteem, those who don't like themselves very much, often try to compensate by somehow or other feeling special. However understandable, that's completely misguided. Those who received insufficient approval in childhood are insecure later in life and so often try to feel better about themselves by accomplishments in which they take pride. That not only doesn't work, but there's no non-psychological need for it. Why? All enlightened beings tell the populace to ignore their personality or personhood. Let go of the identification with the ego as one's real self. From Dr. Hawkins's The Eye of the I, his emphasis. We all have the same essence, namely being, presence, life, divinity, self, and so on, which is as infinitely valuable as it is infinitely powerful. Try saying out loud with conviction, I am infinitely valuable being, 10 times in a row while looking at yourself in front of a mirror and watch what happens. My prediction? You'll break into a smile and begin feeling better instantly. The idea that some humans have more moral value than others is false. Think again, quote, when all is seen with equal mind, to our self-nature we return, end quote. All other sages teach the same thing. If you're serious about raising your level of consciousness, reject ego inflation of any kind in favor of ego deflation via radical honesty and humility. Quote, inner peace results from surrender of both attractions and aversions, end quote. From Dr. Hawkins's The Eye of the Eye. It seems counterintuitive, but the more we let go, the more freedom we enjoy. Because we already are free, there's no need to gain freedom. Instead, all we need to do is to uncover it. People react emotionally to what they perceive as gains or losses. They may react with pride when they think they gain or accomplish something important. Yes, gains and losses feel real. However, are they? No. That's right. Since in reality there are no gains or losses, there's never any justification for emotional reactions to what seem to be gains we make or losses we endure. Their seeming reality depends upon 1. Believing in separate events, and 2. Then identifying with them. Quote, everything is what it is as a consequence of the entire universe's being what it is in its totality throughout all time, end quote. More about this in a subsequent video. This is why it's always a mistake to separate one event from everything else and then to identify with it. Eckhart Tolle, quote, events are not personalized. Ego identification with things creates attachment. Non-resistance, non-judgment, and non-attachment are the 3 aspects of true freedom and enlightened living, end quote. From A New Earth. If so, that's one less reason to put up with emotional contamination of the mind. Let's end emotional distress.